So how will the recommended changes to the child protection system help children like Katie's daughter? They should cut red tape and stop the revolving door of services. But those on the front line are concerned that any changes are a long way off.
Painstakingly taking evidence and examining the system.
We made a commitment to the vulnerable children and at-risk families, and we will deliver.
We will have a stronger system to protect them and support them and make sure they're safe.
After the promises comes the hard work.
It will take a massive commitment to do it.
Most of the focus of the inquiry into Victoria's child protection system has been on its controversial but peripheral recommendations to publicly identify pedophiles, hold an inquiry into church abuse and make it law for priests and childcare workers to report abuse.
It's not the main game.
The whole point of the inquiry was to improve the bureaucracy that deals with at-risk children and to help child protection workers who make life or death decisions every day.
All of us can remember the image of Daniel Valerio some 20 years ago, the horrific breakdown of the system. This report, I think, and if implemented, will take us another step further towards getting it right.
Long after authorities failed to help Daniel Valerio, children continue to slip through the cracks of an overloaded system. The Cummins inquiry found 70% of children suspected of being abused were reported to DHS more than once. 2,000 children were reported more than 10 times.
It doesn't tackle some of the gnarly issues that I was dealing with as well in there.
Like what?
Well, like what? For example, the numbers of workers a child would have coming through the system. The report suggests that the number of workers would possibly change every 5 months.
As the former head of child protection at DHS, now running care provider Anglicare, Paul McDonald calls the Cummins inquiry a once-in-a-25-year opportunity. But he's concerned the report could gather dust because its recommendations on funding and timeframes aren't specific.
It doesn't assist government in showing the stepping stones about how to achieve those outcomes as much as I would have liked to see. And it's not necessarily instructive in some of the important areas it needs to do. It doesn't, and it doesn't sort of recommend or guide government in some of the monetary decisions as well.
On releasing the report, the government announced about $60 million in funding, including 40 new child protection workers. But those working in the area say that's clearly not enough. The report itself calls for substantial investment but doesn't name a figure.
We're talking in the hundreds of millions over a period of 4 years. Now, as I said, it'll make any Treasury official go giddy.
It's a bit tougher for us out in the regional areas.
Cliff Barclay runs community organisation Uniting Care in Ballarat. He's happy the inquiry says funding should increase in areas where reports of abuse are high, like the Loddon Mallee and Gippsland regions. But his big concern is how lots of changes can be made. At the same time, 500 DHS staff will lose their jobs.
And the Department of Education, Department of Health will suffer similar cuts. So there's a massive amount of work and I'm not exactly sure who's going to do it.
Well, do you think they can do it with less staff?
They will need more staff to put it out.
Try to destroy the compliance culture and get the focus back on helping children.
Last year, English expert Professor Eileen Munro warned the Minister Mary Wooldridge that the inquiry must end the red tape that wastes precious time of frontline staff. A peak body for many of those staff says the inquiry has addressed that. Were you disappointed that the government didn't immediately adopt the recommendations? I mean, it commissioned the inquiry. Why the delay?
I think we can't be disappointed that they haven't adopted all of them immediately because it is a 900-page report with 90 recommendations. To accept all of them may have actually been a bit too dismissive. They've had the report for a month or so, so I guess it would have been nice to see some further action take place. But we actually want to be part of developing that strategy and that plan to move forward.
If the Baillieu government is to make good on its promise to fix the child protection system, Community Services Minister Mary Wooldridge must convince her cabinet colleagues to spend hundreds of millions of dollars.
Will we be in this same position in 6 months' time? Can you guarantee that you'll have a plan in 6 months?
Well, the report actually recommends it's a 3-year process for the plan. We will certainly have more bones around what we're going to do and what the priorities are in that time frame.
But government is under pressure at the moment to pay for a lot of things. Do you believe that this will be a priority?
This is absolutely a priority. Let's be also clear, there's a lot of recommendations that we can do in here that don't cost money, and we need to look at it in its entirety.
Will you make a personal guarantee that this report won't gather dust on the shelf like so many before it?
I'm absolutely committed to delivering on this report and the directions that it gives us for a reformed child protection system.